It is Monday, a horrible-looking Monday here in downtown Toronto. And I guess even worse if you're a Jags fan. Broadcasting live from the DKI studios, downtown Toronto, out of the Pacific Junction Hotel, 234 King Street East. Wow, what a weekend that was. And Tom, I guess, is still terrific. Unless you don't like the Patriots as they move on to yet another Super Bowl and yet another comeback. The Eagles, technically without their starting quarterback, but you watched that game yesterday and weren't paying attention, or you were away for a year, you may not have thought that. I see that, Dave, the lines for the Super Bowl apparently came out sometime in the third quarter of that game against Minnesota.
Yes, sir.
That's not insulting. You're Minnesota, and they're already coming out with the lines. Now, I think it started at 6.5, but I think we're generally looking, still at some 5.5s? 5.5?
It's all over the place depending on where you want to shop for that. Where you want to shop for that Super Bowl number. Currently, as of 10:05 a.m. on Sports Interaction, our numbers say... Why the hell would they do that?
Numbers.
Yeah, exactly. It should be on the first page, shouldn't it? 5.5.
5.5.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of people right now. I think I'm going, plus 5.5? Take it. I'll take it. Can Philadelphia beat the Patriots?
No.
Oh, Dave, I don't know.
No.
I don't know what's going on there.
No. Minnesota looked like they had nothing to do with defense all season long. Like that Viking team was embarrassing. That's how bad that defense looked yesterday.
Dave, it was an abomination.
It was. You're right, Howard.
It was a travesty right there. That defense was toothless. They weren't the purple people eaters.
Bingo.
They were the purple penis eaters. No, I digress. Such slander. That game wasn't close.
No.
And
it's funny, as a lot of people forget this, but Minnesota opened the game with a 7-0 lead on an easy drive. Kyle Rudolph, boom.
I was like, you could I was stunned, but
it was so easy.
I always say the same thing in any sport.
Yeah.
When you have it your way so early, so fast, it's rare that the team continues on that pace and runs away with it. In fact, I find it tends to be the opposite. So if there's certain numbers that you wanted, like, for instance, in play, you should have been running upstairs because I don't know how many points you got. If it was already +3, would have hit probably a 9 or 10 maybe if the Eagles get scored on. I don't know at that moment, but to me, just a shocker, really. Like, I thought this game would be relatively close, and I think anyone who took the points, like +3, I get why you would do that.
Yep.
Like, I do. I don't think that was outrageous. And, your Case Keenum, and here's the reality of the NFL. So we've talked about, and I certainly have talked about him all year long, how solid he's been. I don't want to hear about him being a third-string quarterback. And you certainly can't put it all on his shoulders. But the reality is, in this league, do you think Minnesota's going, it's okay, we got Teddy next year?
Yeah, they are going that way.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Oh. It's interesting because Pat Shurmur will be the new head coach of the New York Giants, so the Case Keenum whisperer will move on. Minnesota drafted Teddy Bridgewater in a first round for a reason. This was their quarterback. They thought that was going to be in place for the next 10 years.
Sure.
Now he's healthy. Now he's going to be given that opportunity. Don't be surprised if he is under center in September, week number 1 as the Vikings starting quarterback. Great defense. Hold the defense as it is. Nice set of receivers when they're healthy. Decent running game. They have everything in place to repeat. Even when Aaron Rodgers returns to the Packers, I still think the Minnesota Vikings are the better team of the two teams. But something I don't know. I just don't think Case Keenum is the answer in Minnesota, and I think the Viking management have always thought that, and we're riding a great wave, and deservedly so, because he seems like a really great guy, Case Keenum, and I hope he gets an opportunity somewhere. I just don't think it's going to be back in Minnesota.
And see, that's how tough the league is, and that's how thankless that position is.
Yep.
He has been their guy that they've been confident in the entire season. People are shaking his hand. He's getting free pizza, I guess, maybe.
That's good. Free pizza is
Free
good.
pizza's good.
Yeah.
And then he's going to go there tomorrow.
I'm not talking about the cheese slice. Like, when you give your ticket and you get a cheese slice back, that's garbage.
No.
That's a garbage promotion. Whoever thought of that? Hey, if the Leafs win, you get a slice of cheese pizza. Nobody wants cheese pizza except my 4-year-old kid.
I didn't. So there's nothing on it?
Usually, yeah.
Like not even a pepperoni?
This guy begs for my ticket stubs at the end of games.
I thought it was a slice of like pepperoni pizza. I get it. Is someone going to take a slice of pepperoni pizza?
You know what?
Yeah, they would.
Someone's probably going to sit there and correct me on it because I've never actually thrown it forward.
Because to me, I'm like, cheese pizza.
You know what I want on my pizza? I want ham. I want salami.
Mm-hmm.
I want pepperoni. I want bacon.
Oh, bacon.
I want double mushrooms.
Mm.
I want onions.
Yep.
And I want some sort of combination of like a red green pepper. And if you're gonna throw
I like everything you just said.
If
there.
you're gonna throw that
Everything.
at me, if you're gonna throw that at me, I'm getting season tickets.
I'm telling you, that's exactly what I put on my pizza. Is what you just mentioned. Everything. Sometimes I also throw in cheddar on top of that, on top of the other cheese. I throw in cheddar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, there we go again.
There we go.
Do you want to go in the garage and do karate?
Yes. I will never say no to that.
Yeah, Russell now. So now I can see he's steaming. Yeah. Now he's jealous already of our closeness and the excellent pizza talk we just had.
Hey.
Russell, is that the kind of pizza you like?
Or all about the cheese pizza over there.
You're going, I want sauteed chicken with pineapple and artichokes. See, when people start talking like that, I'm out. I am out. What kind of pizza do you like? Do you like what we just said?
Okay. You get the slice you want. They make it specially for you. One of those nice big jumbo slices that you cut in half, and it's really two smaller pieces, but it's one big piece. What do you get put on it? Even though it's almost impossible to get exactly what I just said, what would you do?
I like the meats, so I'm going like a mix of like pepperoni, ham, bacon.
Yep.
But I will say, if it's a choice between a pepperoni or a cheese slice, I go cheese.
There you go. See, am I right? Am I right?
Cheese?
Cheese.
Yeah. But like I said, if I had the choice, like pepperoni, ham, bacon, maybe some sausage on there too. Just
are you putting any vegetables on that or?
No.
Look at that, eh?
You know what
maybe
your
some
problem
onion.
is you're such a disgrace. You're such a loser that nobody wants to be around you. Nobody wants just a formaggio pizza unless you're, like they say, hey, I'm a girl. Hey, I'm a little girl. Look at me with my cheese. I rub it all over my vagina. I'm just saying, you disgust me. You make me sick.
We got to bring that guy more often for some evaluations of pizzas.
Yeah, Italian Tony, something like that.
Italian Tony.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up right now. I went to this pizza
I like a
place.
soprasata picantes. A nice, a hot sausage is nice. What about you, little girl? Is it too hard for you? Does it make you cry like a little girl?
Okay. All right. That's Russell's going. That's it. That's it. It's Monday. I'm not taking that.
Next time you guys come over, I know we do a lot of Greek stuff.
Yes.
But next time
that last one was so. What? Now let's the shout out to the cousin who does that.
That's our cousin Tom at Diamond Corner.
The
corner of Cosburn and Coxwell, right across, almost kitty corner to East York Collegiate. I thought somebody just got into an accident.
Somebody just got whacked.
I think so.
A little girl.
Well, again, I know, but we got to try this because I've had it once. It's called Descendant Detroit Style Pizza.
Detroit style.
Detroit style. So
because I know Chicago. When you say Chicago, everyone's going, okay. So there's your deep dish.
Motor City inspired pies with thick crust served in tiny digs. In a distressed chic feel. That's how they describe it. It's on Queen East.
Like margarita pizza is awesome. Queen margarita is amazing.
It's
Pizza libretto is. I have amazing pizzas
so
in there.
those are thin.
Yes.
These are like the actual
this is like
pie.
So this is so Detroit is like Chicago then with the
Very
with the,
similar.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. It's squares, not the actual pie shape, not as thick, but it is like I had this probably, I'm gonna say October last. So it's been a couple months. So I'm due to do it soon. Maybe Super Bowl. I don't know. We'll see. But delicious. It's called Descendant Detroit style pizza, 1168 Queen East. So
Yeah, we would try that.
yeah, it's really good.
Like,
really good.
Sometimes it's like pizza. You always want to have it. It's a crave thing for most people. But there's nothing more disappointing when the pizza sucks. And you're
Yes.
like, ah.
Yes.
Because when you get the home run pizza, the
Oh, yeah.
knockout pizza,
Oh yeah.
like I like making my own at home, and I'll even take because I like even like a tortilla, just
Yes.
tortilla.
Yes.
Put the little sauce on it,
Yeah.
do whatever,
Yeah.
little basil, put your bacon. Here it comes now.
Boom.
Bacon, everything. Woo! I love that too.
Man. Okay, how in a course of a month, how often do you order pizza? I'm good for at least two orders a month. On average.
I don't know. Now that we're poor, we don't do it as much as we used to. I'd say at least one.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah.
one, and
It's
probably two. Probably
it's
two.
not like we live at
Yeah.
because Pizza Nova's a go-to. Papa John's before the one in my area kind of went up in smoke. There was actually a fire, which is kind of disappointing.
Ooh.
Pizzaville isn't bad. They always have great promotions where they have like a large pizza, 5 topping for like $13-14, which is great. And then when you go high-end pizza, like the one I just mentioned, that kind of pizza is, it's not your medium for $10. It's not your Pizza Huts where you're going to get 3 additional ones for $5 each or anything like that. So it's more of a gourmet style of pizza. But I think my main one is like Pizza Nova.
Okay, but so what about chicken? So if you're gonna get like a bucket of chicken or Southern or
Yeah. I still go to KFC once a year, and then I pay for it after I eat it. Big time. Sorry. Sorry. Reality time. Popeyes isn't bad, but it's so expensive.
I love Popeyes. See,
Love
that's
Popeyes
mine.
chicken.
That's mine.
But it's so expensive. You could sit there and get a 2-piece combo at Popeyes, and it's like $9.95. There's just 2 pieces of chicken and a little bit of French fries. What do you? And then you give you this little bun about the size of a mini hockey puck. It's like you got to do better than that. And then it's like, you want a drink? No, you know what? I'm gonna drink melted snow on the side of the road because you're probably gonna charge me another $4 for a drink.
What about you, Russell? You like yourself some fried chicken?
Go-to is Popeyes.
That's good chicken. That's good fried
Yeah.
chicken.
Haven't had KFC in a while, but used to get it every Super Bowl Sunday.
Finger licking good. Herbs and spices.
Exactly.
We used to have some folks on the farm working for us.
Okay, Colonel.
Here we go.
Colonel. No. Times have changed.
And we know which folks were working there.
We have a whole bunch of fried chicken. I got clothes made out of fried chicken. I got a hat. One great big piece of fried chicken.
But like if you have the specialty of some sort of fried chicken, I'm trying it.
Yeah.
Like chicken and waffles, I can't believe I've never tried it, but it sounds fantastic.
Chicken waffles sounds awesome.
Oh yeah, it does. I've never had it.
About a month ago, I liked the tweet because it was a friend of mine that works at a radio station in Winnipeg. I guess the Colonel's great nephew tweeted out the actual recipe of, and I liked it on purpose because I want to go back to it and write down all the ingredients because I want to try it.
Because there was the secret recipe. It was the Colonel's secret recipe.
Yes, and I want to try it. I want to see if this is remotely close because just like you just said there, I will try any chicken recipe of that status, and I'll on average course of a week I'll have some sort of chicken in a supper at least 3 to 4 times.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Easily.
You can do anything you want with
and
that.
And then in the summer, it's like barbecue chicken, barbecue drumsticks, breast, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Barbecue sauce it up. In the winter, it's still chicken, but I throw it in a pasta. I throw it in.
But I never the barbecue never goes down in my house. Does it go?
It does just because of just our logistics of our back door. It kind of sucks. Like I'm waiting.
But you would if you could.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'd have that thing up every single day. But in the summer, yeah, there's the summer months where the barbecue's used at least 5 days a week.
Oh, here comes some tweets.
Oh boy.
Yeah, here it is. Coach Frank says, "I got you. It was finger licking good. The 11 herbs and spices. We finally know what they are." This is from
See?
looks like it's from Chatelaine.
Told you.
Okay, so let's
They
go.
put paprika in there too.
Do they?
Yeah.
Let's go back and take that chicken recipe. Okay, where the hell did it go? Here it is. The 11 herbs and spices, and finally revealed we know what they are.
Yes.
Look at this crappy computer. So they have, from the old family recipe from Leadington, here we go. 11 spices.
Yes.
Mixed with 2 cups of, you gotta use white flour. Really, Colonel? So 2/3 teaspoon salt, 1/2 teaspoon thyme, 1/2 teaspoon basil, 3/4 teaspoon oregano, 1 teaspoon celery salt, 1 teaspoon black pepper, 1 teaspoon dried mustard. There's your 4 teaspoons paprika, 2 teaspoons garlic salt, 2 teaspoons ground ginger.
Yes.
Of course, for the Colonel, pepper. That's 3 teaspoons white pepper. We like to use the white pepper. Joe Leadington worked for his uncle as a preteen, told Jones that white pepper was the real secret. Yeah, and yet no surprise, and that nobody knew how to use it or what it was.
So let me ask you this, because I've never bought white pepper. You can just go to the store and get white pepper?
Yeah, you can.
Or would you have to go to a specialty store to get it?
You can find it.
I've never heard of white pepper.
It just, people like, why?
Yeah.
So, because it's got both the white and the black.
Yes, they do.
But there you have it. If you were wondering today, after as we set up the Super Bowl in the next couple of weeks.
I'm just saying.
Yes, but what about the secret recipe for KFC?
Just saying.
Well, now you just heard it.
See, chicken's a popular thing in our family. Even when I was a kid, you order a bucket of chicken for Super Bowls or Grey Cups or stuff like that. The other thing of recent years for me, anyway, is I love pulled pork. I love
I know
pulled.
you. Yeah.
I will eat.
There's 2 things I know about you. Well, actually 3 things. 3 things I need to talk about. Ribs. Don't mess with the ribs.
Yeah.
He loves the pulled pork.
Loves.
And when it comes to corn on the cob season, don't stand in the way.
No.
Get out of the way.
Yeah, we're kind of connoisseurs in corn.
I love that.
If corn on the cob was a multi-billion-dollar business, we probably would have already been in it.
I've got a recipe that you've not had because I had it in Calgary. My good friend Dale Hansen, Hollywood
Okay.
Hansen.
Yeah.
It's this
Good first name.
Yeah, and Hollywood got this thing that makes his wife sick. She hates it. Denise is disgusted by it. It's somehow this mix, and I don't know how they do it. It's butter, but it's thick, and there's bacon in it. There's bacon with it.
Wow.
And when I had it, I thought, oh my god, and some sort of
that's interesting
cheese thing. I don't know how they do it, but when I had it, like I know it's a heart attack. Like you're having,
sure.
You're immediately. But you know what? I'll take it.
Yeah, you could do.
I'll
that.
do it.
You could do that once in a while.
I got to get that recipe because if you see what it looks like,
wow,
it's like something Homer Simpson would come up with.
Yeah,
like, so honestly,
yeah, absolutely.
But when it was gone, I went back and they said, "Oh, it's all gone."
Yeah.
So I took my finger where the stuff was.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Excuse me, are you eating?
Well,
are you just eating the butter?
For sure.
With the bacon and cheese?
Oh yeah.
Oh, no.
No,
I fell. You know what? A lawn made out of bacon, cheese, and butter?
There's times where I could do that every single day in the summer.
Oh,
just like in the winter, you know, the cold spell we had a couple weeks ago, chili on like 4 of those days. And it's making your own chili to have.
That's good.
Love chili.
Yeah.
Love chili. You have the right type of bun with it. Delicious. But I'll never have chili in the summer. That's
because
it
it's
just
not
doesn't-
really a summer
it just
thing.
doesn't- yeah.
Why do you have it?
No.
Like okay, so we're talking about food because guess what? You got Super Bowl parties are coming up.
We should get a chef on this
Yeah.
show. Maybe I'll try to book a chef the week of the Super Bowl because this is our Super Bowl off week. And then, you know what? I'm going to look into it. I'm going to see if I could reach out to a couple people.
We can
and
get
see.
some people.
Well, hey, come out, promote your product, bring a barbecue too, and bring some food.
Yeah.
And then, we'll give you
There
an
we go.
hour.
Speaking of football,
And we're not talking about Coach Frank coming here with his hat on and thinking he's a chef because
he's not a chef.
No, he's not.
He does a very nice job.
Sure he does.
His wife Nicole's amazing with desserts. She could have her own
See,
store. She could have her own store.
No, I totally agree. And the dessert she made at Christmas was outstandingly great. But I'm just saying, I don't want him sitting here opening up a can of beans saying, yeah, I'm a chef. No, you're not. No, you're not.
I don't see Francesco opening up a can of beans. I don't think he's ever had one. I don't think it's happened. Just like he's not open. Hey, they do not recognize Chef Boyardee as a true chef.
They don't. That's more of a Matt Cause thing.
Oh,
right?
I saw that. I did that once in front of an Italian friend of mine. What are you doing? Don't you want some pasta? That's not pasta. What is it? I said, you're disgracing Chef Boyardee. Well, let's talk about the championship weekend in the National Football League, Dave. You had Tom Terrific in the cold fields of Massachusetts. Okay, I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to. That, to me, okay, so here's the thing. I'm not a Patriots lover, but I do recognize that they have a level of excellence that it's hard to. I used to make certain comparisons in other leagues. You know, I'd say, okay, so for instance, the San Antonio Spurs are the Patriots of the NBA.
Yes.
Obviously, now I can't say that because the Patriots still continue to win their championships, and now we're talking about Golden State. When Golden State does it for 10 years in a row, then I'll put them in that category. There simply is such a hard, almost impossible comparison in the world of sport. Even if I take a look at the run in the 70s of the Montreal Canadiens.
That's the comparison.
Yes. The Oilers in the 80s. But it never lasted as long as this does. And people say, well, of this era, you'll never see 4 or 5 appearances in a row by those kinds of teams, like we said. And I agree with you. In the NHL, there's just way too much hockey. They play too long. Players, it gets really hard to keep that core group of players to even play together for 5 years. And guess what? That's not an issue for the New England Patriots. They change players, Dave. Different receivers, different linebackers, different guys at rush end. So what's the similarity? Probably historically, if you don't consider them to be the greatest coach with the greatest quarterback, you're part of the Patriots crowd. Like I said, I'm no huge lover of the Patriots. I'm a huge lover of winning my ticket. As Ted Nesbitt said, he was talking about something else, but he said it was the cover that I cared about. But that's the thing, though, right, Mike? Yes, Ted the Viking. We all know you have favorite teams. Put it this way: if the Winnipeg Jets go to a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Final, and Dave has the other team to win,
but I wouldn't.
But do you want your money or do you want your team to win?
Oh my gosh.
He wants the cash.
Yes.
He wants the cash.
It's like Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
But a lot cooler version and more respectable and organized.
And less rehab stints.
Yes, much less.
But I'll be honest. I'm watching that comeback yesterday, and I tweeted out the picture of Amendola's catch.
What a catch. That put me over because I had Amendola 3.5 receptions over, 41.5 yards over. He breaks the yardage just earlier, and then that was the icing.
Tom is terrific, and I think someone said, well, if he wins one more championship, he'll be in the category of Michael Jordan. Seriously?
No, he's already surpassed that.
He has to win another.
No.
Is this not, how many appearances now? This is 8, correct?
Yeah.
8! Dan Marino was one of the greatest quarterbacks of my era, of our time.
Yes.
Not one.
Yeah, he one appearance.
An appearance, but not
but
once.
A loss to Joe Montana in 1980 something. Yeah.
Neither of those guys.
I think 2.
All that
like
aligned. Can we at least admit now, even if he literally seems to have he's the perfect person. He's got his looks. He's got a professional career unlike no other. He's married to a supermodel. And then when he talks, he's very polite and he smiles.
The thing that pissed me off, though, all week was...
here it comes.
Here
it
comes.
comes.
Well, I'm just saying.
The glass was half full, and here comes the empty.
So he has the built-in excuse of the hand. So if he wins, he's a hero. If he loses... this hand was... the right hand. This hand was in terrible shape. It wasn't 12 stitches. It was 140. No, I'm not going to show you because I'm going to put on a glove. I think that... You know what? And anybody that watched that game, and we all did, Blake Bortles was the better quarterback for 75% of that game.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah.
The only thing I was happy about, Jacksonville plus 9.5 points. I jumped on it.
Yeah. That's
Monday
a gift.
morning, and even yesterday. Yesterday it was 8 points at kickoff. I still jumped on that too. Blake Bortles was better than Tom Brady. He was this close. Too bad. I think you know what I think it was. I think it was the Jacksonville Jaguars helmets. If it would have been full black helmets, not these tinted Oshawa General 2-tone helmets, which look stupid.
Boy.
And I like Oshawa. I do. Well, sometimes. Go with the full black.
Yeah, it's stupid.
That would have put them over the top.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
Even the greeny teal or whatever that's supposed to be.
It's a little different, yeah.
It's so hard. Okay, think of what sport has a green uniform that you like? Jets.
Yeah,
Jets is one.
Love the Jets jerseys,
And it's 2 colors.
Yeah.
That's why it works.
I used to love, and I still wear to this day, my old Hartford Whaler shirt, and that was
that's really popular for almost. I don't know. Is it the whale tail? Is
I
it
think it is.
I don't know what it is, but people do like that.
I don't mind the Oakland A's jerseys, the uniforms. I don't mind it.
Yeah, you know what? That is pretty good
Because
too.
it's a classic.
No,
like,
it is too.
I still remember like a Ricky Henderson wearing that. Jose Canseco, who was one of my favorites at the time. So.
That's not. Oh, yeah.
I hate the Seahawks.
I'm an entertainer douchebag. That was my favorite. His favorite response. I'm an entertainer douchebag. An entertainer.
He certainly is.
Well, his life is very entertaining.
I hate the Seattle Seahawks stuff. Garbage.
No,
jerseys.
I don't like it. Again, It falls in that weird sort of.
Because it's green, and then it's like the blue is kind of like a gray blue, stupid, and then they go neon on you, and it's like You see what the Timberwolves were wearing on Saturday against the Raptors? The neon. That looked kind of like. Wait a second, are they playing the Oregon Ducks here?
Yeah, Oregon.
I wasn't sure for a second. I don't. You know what? In the Timberwolves original jerseys, the greenish, bluish, kind of Seahawk-ish blue green. I don't like that either. I'm not a big fan.
Well, we're going to attempt to phone Clark Judge here and hope improve on the disaster that was last week.
Yeah, we haven't really talked much football yet, have we?
No, we haven't. Well, we've sort of covered it. Praying that this works, please.
Clark Judge.
Oh, look at how good this is. Can you hear me? Is everything fine?
Yeah, everything's fine.
All
You're
right.
not using tin cans.
Good
You
morning.
paid the electric bills. Everything's going great.
Yeah. Clark, thanks so much for joining us live on rawmike.richards.com. And we were just sort of going through the shenanigans of the weekend, and it's just amazing to me that regardless of how the Patriots get there, because they truly are remarkable as a franchise, there are still people who are on the Patriots bandwagon, and I get it when it's a team of dominance, when your team doesn't win, and Tom Terrific, who has literally every attribute in the world I can think of, Clark, that a human being would want to have. He seemingly has it, and he's going back to yet another Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's funny, Mike. I think, be serious for a second. I mean, I do think some of this stems from, believe it or not, jealousy. I think people look at Tom Brady and go, he's got everything. He's making $1 gazillion. He keeps going to the Super Bowl every other year, and that's probably bad when it's every other year. He's going for the third time in 4 years now, and that's the second time it's happened. He's got more Super Bowl victories than anybody. He plays on the most successful team of the last 2 decades. He's got a model wife. He's got beautiful kids. He's got everything.
Yeah.
It just seems he's got everything, And I think I talked about this to a former player once. He said he felt there was something to it, that fans just go, I'm tired of him. I want something new. I talked to I was talking to my wife earlier today, and she goes, I know how much you like watching him play and how much you like watching the Patriots. She goes, I'm just tired of seeing him. And I think that speaks for most of the country outside the 617 area code. They just want to see somebody different, somebody else, somebody new. Blake Bortles, bring him on. Let's somebody different, because the narrative is the same every year. And how are we going to change this? Because all we're just saying is he's great, he's greater, he's the greatest. What more can you say? And I think, as I said, a lot of people out there they're jealous. They wish they had somebody like that to root for. They don't. This guy's got everything. Good looks, everything. Great wife, great looking wife, making a ton of money.
Yep.
She's out earning him. Everything's there. So you start trying to knock him and chip away at it. And as I said, I think if you just sit back and appreciate what we're looking at here, 5 years from now we're going to be going, God, remember what it was when Tom Brady was lapping through. We'll never see another player like that. But while it's happening, there are a lot of people out there who are saying, I don't like it. I want something different.
Well, and Clark, just moments ago, as Dave and I were talking about, I said the other thing is when you try to make comparisons to other sports, so, because people love to do that all the time. And there used to be a time where I used to talk about the San Antonio Spurs being sort of the Patriots of the NBA. Well, here's the thing. They don't win anymore, and the Patriots still are. There's no equivalent. Whether it was the Canadians in the 70s or the Oilers in the 80s, yet this team in the modern era, like yesterday, are still still doing it time after time. I don't think there's an equivalent to me in professional sports, even if you want to go over to leagues and, the Premiership or La Liga or the Bundesliga. I can't think of anything, even Tiger Woods. I cannot think of an equivalent for the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to go back generations. And the thing is, of the modern era and certainly of the salary cap era, there's nothing quite like it. I mean, I go back to the Boston Celtics of the 60s and 50s. I rooted for them. I think they won 11 championships in 13 years. They had Bill Russell. If you have Bill Russell, you're going to have trouble beating that team. And they won even, I think it was a 69 season when they had an inferior team because Bill Russell just willed them to it. They beat better teams. That's the same thing that goes on with New England. This is not a great Patriots team. In fact, I might argue this is the worst of the Super Bowl teams that they've had, but they find a way because they've been there so many times and they've got a quarterback who knows the game play when it matters most, and he excels then. And you saw that the fourth quarter yesterday. You saw it in the second half, the Super Bowl last year, winning the Super Bowl the 2 years before against Seattle. You saw it then, Seattle celebrating on the sidelines when they're up by 10 points. I remember leaning over the guy next to me. I said, they've forgotten playing Tom Brady. You don't celebrate when you're playing Tom Brady in the fourth quarter. This is where he's at his best. Of course, the Patriots won that game. Now, they certainly got a boost from the play calling from Seattle and Russell Wilson pass, but nevertheless, he and they find ways to win again and again. That's what good teams and great teams do. They find ways to win. And I know it's a cliche. Bad teams find ways to lose. That's a cliche, but it's true. And you saw it yesterday. I mean, Jacksonville threw everything at them. It's the best game I've seen Jacksonville play ever. Yeah. I think it's the best game I've ever seen play. And yet it wasn't enough because number 12's on the other side. No Gronk. No Edelman. He's got a cut hand. Doesn't make any difference. 40 years old doesn't make a difference. He finds a way to make things happen and to win. And I just think, as I said, I love watching it as somebody who's studied the game for a long time. I marvel at guys who excel under adversity. I'm not one of those. I certainly played sports. I know what it's like when games are on the line. But I also know what it's like to say, I want the ball, or give it to me, I'm going to do it. I've seen those people. Michael Jordan was one of those guys. Mm-hmm. Bill Russell was one of those guys. Bobby Orr certainly was one of those players. You had numbers of Montreal Canadiens I'm not going through, but obviously they weren't playing this year because they could put the biscuit in the basket. But the fact of the matter is you have guys who want to step up there and go, give me a chance. Larry Bird said, just give me the ball. Everyone else get out of the way. I love watching that. And that's what I love about Brady. Give him the ball with a minute to go. And to me, I think of Unitas. I remember years ago, Dan Henning, who was the head coach and an offensive coordinator and a great offensive coordinator, he found a table of us. There were about 7 or 8 writers who were sitting at the Super Bowl in New Orleans. And I'm going to guess it's probably that 2001 season, so the Patriots versus the Rams. He found us at a restaurant there, and I saw him, called him over, and Dan said, let me ask you guys, you have 2 minutes to go. Minutes to go, didn't make it, it's a minute and a half. Who do you want to have the ball with 2 minutes to go? What quarterback? I said Unitas. Someone said Namath. No one said Stavo. No one said Unitas. Someone said Montana. We went around the table and we finished. And said, oh, he goes, okay, thanks. And I said, wait a minute. Dan, you didn't tell me. Who would you take? You're an offensive coordinator. You've been with good and great teams. Who would you take? He goes, there's only one guy. That's John Unitas. Give him the ball. He's going to go down the field. That's the way I would feel about Montana when he got the ball. That's certainly the way I feel about Brady. If you give Brady a minute with a minute on the clock, Elway was the same way. With a minute left, he's going to find a way to score. One way or the other, he's going to find a way to score.
Yeah, certainly. Clark, great talking to you. We're talking to Clark Judge from the Talk of Fame Network here on rawmikerichards.com. Also streaming live on YouTube this morning. Blake Bortles, for my money, at the start of the season, there was a lot of people saying, okay, well, they're going to find their replacement in the offseason. With what Blake Bortles has done, especially during the stretch drive of these last 2 playoff games, has he earned the right that the Jacksonville Jaguars management group will not be searching for a quarterback this offseason?
Yeah, I think he has because, A, he's young, and B, he's demonstrated he can take them close to the top and really maybe to the top. I thought he played well enough yesterday to win that game. The problem was he played against Tom Brady. But I've been one of those guys that's knocked him all years. I mean, I see him. He's up 1 week. He's down the next. He's up. He's down. He's up. And you can't win with a guy like that, except he actually had better performances this year, more good performances than not. Now, at the end of the year, he slipped a little bit. He had 5 interceptions in a couple games. That, to me, is Blake Bortles. I mean, you see those mistakes. You go, gosh almighty, we should get rid of him, get him out of his game. I realize they happen. They happen to all quarterbacks. Ben Roethlisberger threw 5 interceptions one game, but they don't happen frequently, and they happened too frequently for him in the past for me to place any sort of allegiance in him. Except now, you look at him in the playoffs, didn't turn the ball over. He played well enough to get to a Super Bowl. They've got a really good defense. I think that team is a force to be reckoned with. They played well in the playoffs, and I would. I think it's a $19 million option. Absolutely, I'd pick it up, because where else are you going to find a guy who can do what he just did for you? And I realize it was the defense that drove that team. But again, in that game yesterday, and let's go a week before against Pittsburgh, in the second half, he played well. First half, not so well. But in the second half, played well. But nevertheless, he didn't make the mistakes that he's made in the past that have cost him. And yesterday, actually, he made plays that could have and maybe should have boosted them to the Super Bowl.
Clark, it's interesting, in talking about the quarterback position, which I think is the toughest position to play in all of sport, bar none. I mean, I think I've coached a lot of sports. I've played a lot of sports, sometimes at pretty high levels, and I just think what these guys do. People don't realize just how ridiculously difficult that there's so many things that go on that you have to do in just literally microseconds. You have no time, and the guys who make it look easy really are quite that good. So therefore, when I look at Case Keenum, and I've talked favorably about him all year long, I think what he has done has been magnificent. As Dave said, you ride the wave of a guy that probably wasn't supposed to be there, but it also can be a little thankless, because I think when that game was going on, a lot of people are going, well, at least we got Teddy. And boom, that's kind of it. Is that the thinking or the feeling right now, that for Case Keenum as the starting quarterback for Minnesota, that show is over?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that. I give him a lot more latitude than that. He was 12-4 as a starter. He got into the conference championship game. Again, it wasn't he. It was that defense. But he played well enough, and I thought they had a chemistry that really worked. He didn't make the mistakes, for instance, that Bortles would. He had only had 7 interceptions. But he didn't make some of the big plays Bortles would either. But I thought he got a little bit of an unfair rap yesterday. He didn't lose that game for them. The defense did. I mean, gosh, that was like an open-air defense. And they were going up and down the field on them. And he wasn't protected by schemes that you thought Pat Shurmur would have come up with. I mean, to me, Pat Shurmur got badly outcoached by Jim Schwartz. He wasn't ready for some of the blitzes that the Eagles were throwing at him, and that sack fumble, I think it was near the end of the first half, that turned the whole game around. They're going in for a score. It's certainly going to be a field goal, maybe a touchdown, and he gets hit from behind, fumbles the ball, and that turned the whole game around. They couldn't make a stop on defense. They looked like they were completely unprepared. I don't know what the deal was, and now you're playing from behind. And it's pretty easy then to start making plays on defense. And I'm not saying easy to keep them off the board, but certainly to take chances. You can take chances there where you might not earlier, and that's what they did. And they started getting after him, and he's flushed from the pocket, and he's checking down, and it's a very difficult situation. And then it becomes apparent he doesn't have a chance. I mean, they were so far behind. So I look at this as, if Bridgewater is okay, if you're convinced he's okay and he's the quarterback he was before he got hurt, he's the guy. He's the guy you want, because you felt strong enough that you invested a high draft pick in him and success with him. But if he's not, and he hasn't played, guys, I mean, he hasn't really had an incredible game since August 2016, or hasn't really done anything until August 2016. And I realize, he got to a game this year, but it doesn't make a difference. I would like to know, what are my chances of him getting through a season? Because with Sam Bradford, I do know. I don't have a chance of him getting through a season without getting hurt. It's just not going to happen. So what are you going to do here? I would immediately cast Bradford aside, to be honest with you. I would not re-sign him. Bridgewater, if you told me that I think he's okay and I was convinced he's okay, there's your ticket. If not, you got one healthy guy there, and that's Case Keenum, who just took you to the conference championship game.
Yeah. And it should be interesting to see what the Vikings will do in the offseason. So you mentioned the defense. Mike and I talked about it before we made contact with you earlier this morning. Open-air defense, game planning against Nick Foles. What the hell happened with the defense? This defense was arguably the best defense overall the entire season. Pro Bowlers at the linebacker position, at the corner position, and they were just eaten up big time. I mean, Zach Ertz is one of the best tight ends in the game, but this guy was catching everything, and Alshon Jeffrey lit him up as well. It was really disappointing to see that performance that the Vikings put on the field in their biggest game of the year.
Yeah, for one, I'd say, remember, they lost Ndeo. The safety he bowed out, I think, after the first period or something. I thought that was significant because remember what happened in the New Orleans game.
Yep.
And bowed out. I think it was a concussion, but anyway, all of a sudden the Saints were a different team. And then Xavier Rhodes sat down. I mean, he sat down because there were some issues with him. And while he was out, they went up and down the field. And suddenly what was a 14-7 game quickly became 24-7. It was gone.
Yep.
It was 14-7 with the strip sack. And that, to me, as I said, turned the whole game around because all of a sudden they're finding guys wide open. I mean, Zach Ertz wide open down the sidelines. Alshon Jeffrey wide open. I mean, these guys they didn't have anyone within 15 or 20 yards of them. And then that series at the end of the first half where they got the ball with whatever it was, 50 seconds to go, whatever it was. And I thought, yeah, they're just going to sit on it. Whoa, they go down and kick field goal. I mean, it was amazing. They just kept putting points up on these guys, and Minnesota didn't have an answer. I don't know what the deal was, guys. And they looked like they were stuck in mud. They looked slower.
Mm-hmm.
They certainly play on a fast track indoors. That's one reason, be honest with you, indoor teams don't have success when they go outside for these conference championship games. They're playing an elite competitor. They're playing for one game, and that's the Super Bowl, and they don't win. They're 0-13. They don't win. And, you can say, well, it happens. Well, it keeps happening over and over again, so there must be a reason. And I remember when Indianapolis had those good teams with Peyton Manning, when they go outside, they just weren't built for grass. They were built for fast track indoors. Dwight Freeney, when they drafted him, they said he'll be fast on our turf, and he was. He was a great pass rusher. But there is a difference, and I don't know how to explain it other than that was, I think, a factor. They just seemed completely unprepared, and that's what struck me. They were hitting slants all day, tight end, open all day. Don't you think you should cover Zach Ertz if you're playing the Eagles? I mean, isn't that a good idea? And this team had success covering tight ends. For whatever reason, it just like there was a mind block yesterday. I mean, everything they'd done up to that point went out the window. But you look at those last 6 quarters, guys. I'm talking about the last 2 quarters of the New Orleans game. The 4 quarters yesterday, completely different performance and defense. They gave up a zillion points. I don't know what it was, 62 points, something like that in 6 quarters. Whereas in the previous, I think it was 14, they gave up 15 points. So, it was just an utter collapse.
Well, we had also a very heated discussion this morning, Clark, about where people get their fried chicken from and what they like on their pizza.
Oh,
now,
big time, yeah.
And I will tell you that you had a test with us beforehand about Christmas movies with Die Hard, where you said it wasn't a Christmas movie. Tremendous heat on you on that one, just so you know.
Really? Of Die Hard?
So, yes, tremendous heat saying it's not a Christmas movie. So if we're looking at the pizza selection now of Clark Judge, the Talk of Fame, a pizza, what do you have it on the pizza?
Pepperoni. Oh,
okay,
pepperoni. Love pepperoni. That's we have. Actually, we have it every Friday here. My daughter, my wife, and I, we have pepperoni pizza every Friday. And we live near New Haven, Connecticut, which has the 2 best pizza places in the world.
Really?
That's Frank Pepe's and Modern. New Haven's renowned for its pizza places. They're phenomenal. If you guys ever get down here, I'm taking you there. You'll love it. Lines are out the door on Pepe's and Modern.
What kind of crust? What kind of crust are they doing?
Thin crust, very thin crust.
I like thin crust.
Yeah, and it's oven cooked. It's so good. God, it's listen. They said America's best pizza, and you go, yeah, sure. And I said to my wife, okay, be prepared to be disappointed. When we finished, I said, I got to tell you, I've never ever had a better pizza. It's the best. And we lived in New York City for years. It's the best I've ever had. So if you're ever within 100 miles of New Haven, Connecticut, go. Pepe's and Modern Pizza.
We're going to come down there just so Dave will come down just because you're going to pay for the pizza. I'm telling you right now. Dave will do this.
I tell you what, talking about it, I might go there this afternoon. It's great. This place is great.
Awesome. Hey, Clark, thanks so much for joining us here this morning. Always a pleasure, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again. We're going to talk to you next week. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, we'll figure something out. I'll text with him as we always do, and Clark's so gracious with his time. And Clark, without a doubt, one of our best guests. We always get some great comments about.
I love being on here with you guys. And I saw, by the way, you were plugging. Is a Japanese hockey phenom? Is that true? Coming up?
Yes, that's what's coming up. You don't want to miss that one.
Give me his name and number, and I'll send it to Montreal.
Okay.
How did I know he was going to say that?
His name is Aito Iguchi. That's his name.
How do you say that in French?
I think
Iguchi.
They'll say, "Hey, here come the Japanese guy."
That'll work.
Oh, I think it will. Hey,
thanks
all right, take care. Clark
You got
Judge from the Talk of Fame always does a great job, and he look at that a little throw. A little segue to our next bit as you're watching here on rawmikeRichards.com. Remember to subscribe to not only the website, but also, of course, if you're watching on the YouTube dedicated channel to Raw Mike Richards, you just hit the little head, the little thing there, subscribe, the little banner, and you are in. Therefore, you never miss a show, including some talk of this. Now, once again, Russell, I'm pronouncing it right. This is Aito Iguchi. I know people say, how come you have to say it like that? Because it just sounds better. I know things. My cousin Chris, married to a Japanese girl. And I know when I talk like this, it just seems to flow nicer. This is my feeling on that. This is my feeling. What's your feeling? So this is going to go out today. This will also go out in Twitter as a promo. And sometimes we get great responses. For instance, agree or disagree with Dave Bastel has been incredibly popular and almost 100% agreement, I have to say.
Really?
Yeah. People like when he
I should run for
crushes
office?
people.
Is that what you're
Absolutely.
trying to say?
No,
No?
trust me.
You don't want
Just
that?
like me.
No.
Too many secrets. You can't do it. But do, again, take a look at this. And, again, this is a young guy. So at this point, I think he could be 11 or 12. He might be a little older now. And I think he's working with, here in Canada, is it the Pavel Barber. And so he does some training.
Those
over
two
here.
names don't seem like they go
No,
together.
they don't now. Well,
My name
sometimes.
is Pavel Smith.
Yeah,
What?
I
No,
don't-
that is.
I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
But as you watched this, is he a phenom?
I'll have an evaluation after
Yeah,
this.
you got to watch this, and you tell me, because I see on comments on
No,
the internet
Don't get into it
what people say.
because they're probably right.
You watch it. Is this the phenom? Is the new future star of the NHL? Is his name Aito Iguchi? Well, baby. Something's going on there. He's still got it. Iguchi. Everything's going on. Is this the new star? And before people get to their nose all out of the joint, it's like, can a star come from what we consider to be a non-traditional hockey country or market? Well, I can tell you, I never thought that a guy who is maybe half Mexican American coming out of a desert in Arizona who would play hockey in Switzerland and come over and be literally the best player in the league. I never would have thought that would happen either. Based on what you saw, and I'm saying 11, 12 years old, can he be a significant star, Dave?
Hard to say because there was nobody around him. My first instinct on this is okay. Nice hands on him. My only problem with that is I've seen kids at that age and maybe even a little bit older. I know that's not fair to compare, but guess what? Life is unfair sometimes. Do it with their head up. I don't understand how this guy's head is buried into the ice, and all it takes is one guy to send him into space with a nice big hit, because you're not going to be pulling that crap when you get to the level of contact hockey. So as much as that is nice, and he didn't do really anything too special, to tell you the honest truth. He did some stick handling between the legs. There's no puck drag curl or anything like that, or any kind of loopy. You want to see a guy that, and I know it's not fair to say this, but there's some really good tape on Patrick Kane when he was a London Knight. And Patrick Kane was a London Knight when he was 17 years old. And if this guy could do that kind of stuff when he's 17, I don't know. You know what? Nice European player, possibly. We'll see if he actually makes it to the show. Because of his birth certificate and origin, he could be playing in Olympic hockey, because hockey over there sucks. And I'm sorry, I could probably pick up and play for an Olympic team right now in Seoul, Korea right now, and I'm 40 plus years old. But yeah, you know what? Nice story, but we'll got to do more for me if you're gonna.
Yeah, and keep in mind his age. Keep in mind his age at that point. Now that's probably, is it a year old? I don't know. I'm not sure. How old is that? How was it roast beef? Has it been a year?
It says December 2017.
Okay,
so it's not that old.
That was
Pretty,
just
it's new.
last
pretty recent.
month,
Yeah.
I believe he's 15 now. So
You know, the other thing I want to see too, when kids make these videos and they love doing it, and I love watching them because it's fantastic. Put some pylons or pucks on the ice and show me that. I mean, you haven't stick handled through anything. Like you know what I mean. It's almost like you're drawing a picture, connecting dots. It's like, no, you haven't done anything.
So here's Coach Frank. He's all over this because you know Coach Frank. That's what he does. He's a coach. He goes, I'm already on my way to Pearson Airport to recruit the kid, as is the norm these days. It is. It's crazy out there. He goes, Arigato, Mike. # he's good. And right now, he has, and I'm retweeting this. He goes, here he is in game action. So this is, now I think this is 2015, the season dangle reel from Japan. So we're putting it out there. We also see the promo later on today. To show you exactly what you might think, and I think it was an interesting. That's why we try to pick up on these videos that sort of spawn a little thought, a little conversation. But I think it's it just tells you how worldwide sometimes this game is getting. And once you get a couple of these guys like this, and depending on the level that he goes in Japan. I mean, they're such focused individuals, and a country is because sport is huge. I guess we'll that will turn on. I mean, you have no idea. Really, that influence as he gets older, if he maintains that, what that could mean to Japanese hockey.
No, that's exactly it, right? Because
it's exciting. At least it's a chance.
It is very, in the earliest stage of developmental at least, right, or at best, I should say. But yeah, you know what? He just texted me too and said there's many other videos. He says there's better videos than that. But
who said that?
Frank did.
He did. Yeah, that wasn't the best video you could see.
I'm just saying.
You're not the producer of the show.
So put down 15, 20 pucks and let's see a stick handle through that. And then it's a better looking video. It just because that he's actually having to do some work, but
whenever you see stuff like that, it's like me watching a kid at 10 or 11 or 12 who can dribble the ball like crazy, and he shows you all the moves between the legs, blah blah blah. It's great, but I need to probably see you against someone of equal height or bigger. And if you're crossing over and you're breaking ankles, and it's just like someone going up and seeing a guy do a reel of slam dunks. That really doesn't show me anything except you can do good slam dunks when there's nobody guarding you. I guess it's a skill to a degree, but that's not a basketball player. Just like this is not necessarily just saying the kind of hockey player is. For Connor McDavid, what would be the thing that strikes you first about him upon seeing him, even when he played in Erie? It was Erie, right?
Yeah. Speaking of guys with videos, holy crap.
Yeah. This is the kind of thing where you look at, but again, not a fair comparison because he's a child.
Yeah.
Still, right? So
we got to be easy on it, right? So that's all.
The comments underneath, keep your head up, buddy. Keep your Canadian goof. Goof? Why is he a goof? Another guy, he'll be a monster in Europe. Just angry, right? Just bitterness and jealousy.
They're okay. I don't get the goof one or anything like that.
He's a goof.
But
why?
But there's an instance of head up, right? Not if you're sitting like this anywhere on the ice. Once you get to age 14 or 15, you'll be knocked on your ass.
Okay,
that's
so
just
if we're looking at influences. Before the advent of the shootout in the NHL, you really only saw sort of penalty shots. The only time I remember seeing it as a kid. Did you ever have to do that in tournaments?
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tournaments as a goalie, it's the only time I saw it, and I didn't mind it.
And in Hockey Night in Canada during intermissions when they had Showdown. Love Showdown.
So Showdown
loved it.
Was a huge thing back in 1980. So I think this is actually, 1981? No, it's 1980, I think. At the, I used to call it the new Markham Arena, now that it's 40 years old or whatever the hell it is. And it was massive because all the stars of the day would come and shoot, literally for me, living in Stouffville, Ontario, the backyard. My Uncle Guy, you've heard me talk about Gunnar Kinnear, was one of the staff guys on the ready. I don't know what you need a trainer for in this particular instance, but I saw Chico Resch.
Yes.
I saw so many players.
Chico Resch was hilarious in these shows.
Well, the one I saw, they must have hit on him, whoever it was, and I might have been like McLeish or someone like that, must have hit 4 goalposts. in the one, because you get 5 shots. That's kind of how this thing worked. I think it was 5, 3 or 5. And they were all goalposts and crossbars, and when it was over, he took his helmet up and he kissed the crossbar and both goalposts.
It's funny you say that because, and this is kind of off topic, but it was one of those segments on Hockey Night in Canada. Kent Nielsen, the Magic Man, sat at center ice during one of these, displays basically, and shot 3 pucks purposely to hit the crossbar. Ding, ding, ding. And I'll remember that to the end of time, how cool that was as a kid to watch that. And hey, you know what? Even today, I challenge anybody at any level to sit at center ice and fire 3 pucks and hit 3 crossbars.
It's crazy.
It's amazing. Kent Nielsen was, I know they nicknamed him the Magic Man. He was like the original Magic Man. Like, I know people sit there and go Pavel Datsyuk and Patrick Kane with his hands and so forth, and then we see kids like this making videos. No. Kent Nielsen was like the godfather of that type of player, and man, I loved it. So,
well, if you want to see some magic, and again, this is crazy. This is 1980. You want to see some young faces? Brian McFarlane, obviously a huge part of this. They even brought in Peter Puck, which I couldn't believe. But look how young the players are. In particular, a young Wayne Gretzky who looks like he's 10.
Well, Gary Dornhofer, we've got some great talent in our Champion of Champions series. For example, Mike Bossy, the Wingers champion.
Well, he has great God-given talent of putting the puck in the net. He has to do well in the shooting and breakaway drills to be the overall champion.
How about this man, Robbie Ftorek of Quebec, the centers champion?
Well, he beat out some superstars to get here. He could be unbeatable in the skating drills.
Reed Larson, the defenseman champion.
Well, Reed has all the skills. His main weapon, of course, being his great snap shot from the slot area.
Everybody loves this young man, 19-year-old Wayne Gretzky, the sophomores champion.
Well, Wayne is a prolific goal scorer. With his natural ability, he could win it all.
They'll face Don Edwards in goal. He's already been crowned goaltending champ.
Yes, it's Showdown. Brought to you by Esso.
Showdown. Brought to you by Panasonic.
Oh,
slightly ahead of our time.
Nice graphic.
So now we move to the final event.
There he is. He's a great guy, though. Did you ever had a chance to talk to Brian McFarlane?
No, never.
Nice man. Very nice.
I believe it.
Yeah. Really a hockey historian is what he
go
is.
with Mike Bossy of the Islanders. Now, so Peter Puck puts the target.
See, look how cheesy this is.
Scoring system, first place worth 10, second 7.
Peter Puck is putting the net up.
We'll be right back.
Okay. Anyway, that's something. We'll maybe take a look at that later on, and we'll pick up the action, Dave. But isn't that something? That was
very cool.
Would they say Wayner was 19?
19. Yep. Brian McFarlane, by the way, 86 years old.
Yeah. You know what we could probably get? I think he lives in the
Florida area.
Oh, he's down. He's full time. Right?
Full time. Yep. That's just what I've been told. I remember hearing a couple stories about the guys talking about him. He was so well liked and spent so much time covering the Toronto Maple Leafs. So apparently, it's there.
Well, as I said, it was great having that conversation also today with Clark Judge. So coming up this week, just so you know, Thursday we will be off. But what does the schedule look for us like, Dave, coming up this week?
So tomorrow we have Chris Dickerson, former Major League Baseball player. He has a brand new charity out called Players for the Planet. We'll talk about that, how people could get involved with that. And also we're going to touch on some other things because when you look at it, Mike, Major League camps are basically a month away from pitchers and catchers reporting because it is the 22nd today, whatever it is. So we're very close to that 1 month, and there's still some pretty significant names like a Yu Darvish on the market that hasn't been signed. Where does he go? Where do some other players go? Yeah,
pass.
Big time pass.
I'm not touching that.
Don't touch that gas can. Also, a little bit later on in the week, I'm trying to think of some other ones because we are fully booked. James Myrtle from The Athletic will join us on Wednesday. He's going to be calling us because he has some commitments, so he'll be calling in. Thursday we're off, and then on Friday we'll do a combination probably of Phil Gray, Steve Rapp. I'm not sure. I think it's Phil Gray's turn.
Yeah.
And plus Phil has told me too, a week from this Friday, he'll actually be down here in studio talking about everything Super Bowl. So if we'll tweet it out a little bit later on, but it's hard talking to a senior lines manager of a gambling website. So if you have questions, We'll take those
Yeah,
questions.
that's a good
we'll
idea.
ask him. We don't get the opportunity to do this too often in studio. The guy doesn't even live in this province, so he will be in for the Super Bowl. We brought him in on the Friday, and I can't wait for that.
Yeah, because last week we had a couple of beauties in here. Will Strickland, anytime Will comes on, he just it's so stimulating what he talks about. I love having Big Will. And Jeff Manishin was just what a treat that was. I mean, my God, I hope people realize the kind of history that was sitting in the studio in terms of the legal world that we have in Canada. Just how
significant
revered he would be. I mean, this is that was, and what a human being. Oh my God, that was so good.
Really good guy, good friend of the show, good friend in general.
In general, no kidding, Dave.
Just become best friends. Yep.
That's every show, by the way.
You want to go do karate in the garage?
Oh, try and stop us.
It's time!
Clark Judge, what a beauty! And by the way, talking about, coming up soon. I know we're going to start doing remotes again.
You want to go to New Haven?
We're going to do it.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I don't even know what's going on in New Haven. But we will be sponsored by that pizza place. I can tell you that. There's nothing like great pizza.
I love pizza.
Yeah. So probably we'll have some promos out today. I think the Colonel and Italian Tony.
Let's get ready to rumble!
I think they two new people, a chicken guy and a Italian guy. How can you go wrong with that? So there it is, Philadelphia and the Patriots. I was hoping for the Patriots in Minnesota in their own building. Not going to happen. But Tom Terrific, the real deal, and maybe the greatest of all time.